Hello everyone, it's me again, Penguin21, and today, well, we're going to be talking about this. Now, if you don't know who this person is, I'll give you a quick backstory. This right here is Mr. Refodge Gaming. Now, Refodge Gaming himself is not the worst character on this whole list and menagerie of seemingly Spider-Man type villains that I've gotten over the years, or that I have engaged with over the years. But he most certainly is the most inconsistent when it comes to his opinions sometimes. Now, people have said that he is a pony, people have said that he is an Xbox, apparently, but overall, one of, if not the biggest things that I will say right now is that he might not be a PlayStation fanboy, but he has that PlayStation fanboy mentality. Now, there is a difference between having the mentality of a PlayStation fanboy and being a PlayStation fanboy. Now, I don't think that I will ever truly call him a PlayStation fanboy outside of the one time when I did, which, again, I mean, I have since taken that back because I don't think that he is completely out of the woodwork for something, but he is definitely playing in the ballpark somewhere. But overall, Reforge Gaming is just inconsistent, and people keep calling him this sort of grifter. And he's engaged with people like Sid Alpha who have blatantly called him out on this situation. Now, listen closely and understand this. Mr. Reforge Gaming himself just does commentary live streams and stuff where he reads the articles, and that's really it. I've never really said what he does because he live streams a lot more, and I take a lot of these clips from him. But today, he has decided to call out the commentary community for a second time. Yes, I think I did cover the first time, but this time seems to be more interesting. So, let's give a slightly updated take on this man's opinion, I guess.
Outside of the obvious bad actors, says Kelswiss, will you unban some of the other content creators you may have blocked on Twitter? I don't know. Some of them are committed to being dishonest and lying about me. Some of them are committed to being nasty and smearing, and I don't have any interest in engaging with that. You know, I don't. It's a wavelength and it's energy that I think is just it's unhealthy for me. I think it's toxic, and I don't have a whole lot of trust for some of those folks.
So this is what I mean when I say that he has the PlayStation fanboy mentality. Now again, the mentality of a PlayStation fanboy is that I'm right, you're wrong, PlayStation rules, you troll, suck my balls. But overall, they don't realize that that's more or less their opinion and not an actual fact. Now again, I personally, in my ever engaging quest here, is I will never block people outright unless I know that they are actually bad faith actors. And even then, I will still engage with them because of how they actually work and because of how they actually go about doing business and things like that. I have been tried to be scammed out of paying for art that I will probably never have, the good old classic art scam, because I have artist stuff in my tag. I do art, by the way, if you want to go and check me out. Links to DM me in the description below. I do 2D and 3D art. But more so than that, right, is the sheer fact that I will never block a person for just having an opinion that I don't like. More or less, if the person even starts to attack me for that reason, absolutely not. I've only blocked a handful of people in my time on the internet, and that's including every single game, every single social media, and everything. Only a handful of times, and I can probably count on one hand as to how many people that I blocked. One person was obviously making a very terrible joke, and one that I just was not engaging or wanting to. A second person was legitimately an insane person who wanted to see the entirety of Cops kind of burn. So, you can kind of guess why I blocked those people. Those types of people, absolutely. But at least talk to them first before you decide to go on a blocking spree. And, block people who are actually trying to do what it is that you preach, but don't actually do.
I just don't trust them. I think there's just a lot of opportunism, and there's a lot of fear. And I think when people are driven by fear and opportunistic, behavior, I think they're going to maybe say what needs to be said, and then I'm going to turn around in 3 months and regret it and be like, yep, here we go again. It's one thing to be like, that guy's a pony. It's another thing to commit to falsehood and...
I mean, again, where is that line specifically? Because to me, I never say don't go out and watch you. I just say that your opinions suck and that sometimes you have a very big bias towards PlayStation. Maybe not in the same vein, but it's a borderline on on the PlayStation fan base, which is why you tend to get along with a lot of the PlayStation guys, because they say exactly what they want to hear another person say to validate their opinions. I'm fairly certain other people have explained this before. But listen, you legitimately, right, do you have a bias against Xbox? And I know that there's a thing such as the Xbox tax that people were talking about, but you actually have that Xbox tax because you yourself have this predisposition to notice all of the negatives about any Xbox game ever. Yet when PlayStation does the exact same bad business tactic, like, say, releasing a game that didn't really need a re-release at all, or even a remaster, by sprinkling in some other stuff that could have been literally an update that was free and not having to pay $10 for, you can kind of see why people are like, maybe you shouldn't be giving your opinions out on the internet like that because you are kind of biased towards a particular person.
Smear tactics to convince people to not watch me. That's different. When you start making a concerted effort to attack my livelihood and how I provide for my family, you're in a very unique category. That's not disagreement. That's not discourse. Once you cross that line, my husband-dad instinct kicks in, and you're now in a very unique category, and you don't get out of it very easily.
I mean, in short, in some cases, I agree. I feel for people like that as well, being in a relationship myself, and a couple of relationships where I've actually tried to defend the people that I'm in a relationship with. Absolutely. So I don't diss you there. But you have to learn when the difference between your job versus why people are critiquing you. I mean, again, people critique literally fucking everything, from the highest power in the land, in the world, to the smallest thing that a person says on the internet. Don't think that you're special because you're getting critiqued by people who may or may not have bad faith in their bloods. I know that, again, that's rich coming from me, but at least I'm coming from a place of trying to understand why you think this, rather than coming from a place of, oh, you're an idiot. Because I don't think you're an idiot. I really don't. I think that some of your opinions are bullshit, and sometimes you have some of those dumbass moments, but everyone has those dumbass moments. Absolutely. And again, I will be the first one to say I've had dumbass moments. I, for one, had actually defended XQC and had to actually apologize and, take back and walk back a couple of things that I said about XQC because of the fact that he basically is a stupid, dumb, disgusting person sometimes. Is it his fault that I critiqued him that harshly? Maybe a little bit. But do I stand by a lot of the things that I have said currently about him? Abso-fucking-lutely.
I think dads and husbands resonate with that. You start messing with my money, you start messing with my livelihood, and it's intentional, it's malicious, you're in a special category at that point. And you don't just get to walk, you
can just smoke my gas and walk out of here alive?
Yeah.
You don't just get to walk, you don't just get to strut out of that category. You don't. Like I take a very, very hard stance of protection against, and I think a lot of this just stems from the juvenility and the extended adolescence. I think a lot of them this is just something fun that they do, and they don't see the severity of besmirching, smearing, and slandering somebody and convincing large portions of an audience to basically like, don't watch that guy, he's a grifter, he's a liar, he's a this. They don't see the severity of that because they're in this sort of, they're not in this as like, or maybe they are. Whatever it is that's motivating that, I don't necessarily know if they can step out and see the severity of, I am maliciously affecting somebody's way of earning a living. I'm making it harder for this person to get sponsors. I'm making it harder for this person to get to work with other companies. Like the way they misrepresented why I didn't review that quantum error game.
Okay. So, yeah. Now, the whole quantum error thing, I don't want to get into it because he'll explain kind of why that happened. But basically, he didn't review quantum error because he didn't have anything good to say about it. Which is, again, very weird considering your job is to critique video games. If your job is to critique video games, right, and to make it so that way that company, or you get eyeballs on that game for whatever reason, good or bad, you are not obligated to do it because, again, you work for yourself. But if you had to make a review for, say, a bigger company, that is your fucking job, to critique a video game and give the best, most reasonable review that you possibly can, checking your balances at the door. Some people are very biased in their reviews, and absolutely, more consumers are than actually other people. But if your job is to review a fucking video game, review it in an honest fucking way. And don't just say, oh, I'm not going to review that because I couldn't think of anything positive to say. If you can't think of anything positive, that's not a good game. You should warn people to stay away from that video game. It's a no-brainer as to why people got on your ass about that. But more to the point here, one of the big things that he tries to pawn off onto the commentary community, more or less, is that people trying to attack his character. The thing with me is, I never attack characters. I attack opinions, because opinions can be attacked. A character should never be attacked. I don't attack your character as harshly as other people, but I do attack it sometimes whenever I need to create a funny. But in this context, right, you're doing the exact same fucking thing whenever you critique anything. Like, that's how this works. Whenever you critique Xbox, whenever you critique a game design element that any company made, like, regardless of who did it, you're basically saying, hey, this sucks, or hey, this is stupid, or hey, this is legitimately neat, or hey, this is okay to be. You're giving your opinion and influencing others. It's where influencer kind of comes from. But here's the thing. You can't just say that because you get criticism, right, about what the fuck you are doing, that automatically means that that person is trying to attack and derail and kill your character, right? I can say, I don't really like your coffee. It's because I just don't like coffee. It's not because I have a grudge against you specifically. I'm not a big coffee drinker. I don't like any coffee at all. Like, any YouTuber coffee, like a YouTuber could literally offer me a coffee for free. I will never drink that shit. That's disgusting to me. Because I'm not into coffee, all right? That's my opinion. But at the same time, you can't just say that attacking your character or attacking your way of living is bad for whenever anyone else does it to you, and yet when you do it to other fucking people, like the big corporations that you are so vehemently a pro or a con about, it's not how this fucking works. All right? You can't just have these very opinionated contexts for everything and then just say, "Oh, you can't critique me because you're attacking my fucking character." That's not how this works, okay?
Nothing but smear and dishonesty and lies. None of that was a fair accounting of what happened. And they're making a concerted effort to affect my ability to earn money and grow. Buddy, I'm attached to people, and when you start doing that, you are now in a very special category, and you don't get out of it very easily. You don't. And if you want to say it's just satire,
Well, then that's your issue. I never make it anything less than I'm playing a caricature of myself. Not exactly a character, because a caricature is technically different. They're basically the same, but their one biggest difference is that a caricature is more based on a real person and is more of the extremes of that real person's personality, at least from what I can understand. But I never say that I'm not playing a character whenever I'm doing this. I'm thinking most people, whenever they get on camera, whenever they start to commentate, whenever they do fucking anything outside of their privacy of their own home, that's them acting as a character or a caricature of themselves. Like, for instance, there are things that I don't want people knowing about me, so whenever I'm out with specific groups of people, I don't put, like, everything out on the table. Like, whenever I'm online, I play a caricature whenever I'm online. Whenever I'm doing my commentary, that's a different caricature. Whenever I'm with my family, that's a different character of myself. And hiding behind that is stupid and does suck. But if people are like, hey, this is how I actually think, but I'm using this character or this caricature of myself to project that out in a comedic and critique like fashion, that's how things have been for a fucking ever. Like, it's baffling to me how you can be this far along in your internet journey and not understand that people are not fully real on the internet, right? Saying that you don't believe that a person is playing a caricature or a character of a person or of themselves, more or less, is stupid. Because every content creator, every social media influencer, every one of those people, even yourself, play a fucking caricature of how they truly are. At least I hope so. Because those who take it seriously fucking lose themselves to it. And that's not good.
it's just for lulz, it's just for fun, it's just a character that I do. I don't believe you. I think people veil their cruelty and their anger and their unhappiness under the guise of, it's just a prank, bro. It's just a joke, bro. It's just satire, bro. No, I think you're cruel. I think you try to hurt people, and that's a really, really easy. That's a very, very easy scapegoat, and that's just a line I have to draw. After everything I've been through, that's a line I have to draw. You start messing with my livelihood. No.
Okay, so look. Oh boy, that's a lot to unpack. Look, dude, if you can't trust people, if you can't trust someone to be honest with you and say, hey, that opinion that you had, it's fucking garbage, okay? If you surround yourself with yes people, like you do, by blocking people. That's what you legitimately do, by the way. Whenever you block a person who disagrees with you, whenever you block a person who tries to attack you personally, at least on the internet for me, that's a pussy move. Regardless of the reason, it's still a pussy move. I use it as a trump card only very rarely because I usually try to engage, and the other person usually walks away thinking that they're the victor. And I'm fine with that. The thing is, and the difference between you and me is, whenever I engage with someone, I don't try to attack their character. I make jokes about their character, absolutely. But I try to attack the opinions the person has and see what makes them tick about it. it's reminding me of a very interesting and kind of stupid debate that I got in with a person recently. And they basically were talking about how the PC marketplace was a corporation and how they themselves were basically, better because they, I guess, had this sort of thing to say. I actually do have the conversation here as well. This is from another person that I have, and I think I've actually been blocked/muted by this person for before, so we'll end it off on this. I was basically talking about how they limit games, how you want to limit games you play to only Big Brother Corpo Man. It tells you, by all means, I will be over here running my entire job off my PC for the time and giving fanboys like yourself a platform on which to display the clown show that this is. And then he says, PC is just much more corpo is just as much corpo as consoles. And I prefer console over PC as they aren't too much of a hassle, unlike a overpriced PC is, and no clown show here. Congratulations, sir. Put on the fucking nose. Because so I basically then asked him to explain to me how a PC is much more corporation-based, where you do realize that I can think of at least 5 marketplaces on the PC, and I was talking specifically about games that are fighting for my dollar and trying to get the best price out of me, right? Not only that, as well, there are actually key resellers and things for third-party systems that you can buy off of the internet for fucking dirt cheap. Not only that, I can literally build my PC and upgrade my PC and replace the parts in my PC without having to phone up Daddy Corporation and be like, hey, can you fix my PC when you get the chance? Because, that's kind of fucking stupid. And that's also not negating the fact that there are, building corporations and things like that build a PC, but they have to source the parts and you still pay them. And yeah, absolutely, they have warranties and things like that you can call up for help if you need it. But those warranties can be null and void if you open up the PC and start to work on it like most PC people will do. Not only that, I have more options than you, I have more power than you do, and your hardware and system is locked for years on end without any upgrades or anything to follow modern standards. He then does the following, which, again, don't do this because this is a kind of bitch move, which are big corpo marketplaces, so thanks for proving yourself wrong. Have a nice day. Muted. Even though most of the marketplaces that I would have listed off would be Steam, which is a private company, and not really a big corporation, technically speaking. They make a lot of money, but they're more of a private company, whereas the other one has a public traded company with actual shareholders and has a more corporate-like infrastructure. Another one being Epic Games, which was not the greatest example, but overall is an example to exist. GOG, which is, I think, a smaller indie company as well. CD Projekt Red, which is a game development company, mind you. There's 2 game development companies in there as well. And even Humble Bundle, which does shit for fucking charity. Are you, kidding me right now? What the hell? How is any of that corporo fluff and nonsense? That makes no sense to me. But hey, I guess I'm not the big brain person to really be talking here. So, yeah. Overall, I wanted to just talk about this Refodge gaming video because, quite honestly, I saw it on Cyborg's thing, and quite honestly enough, it's one of those things that you only get to see once in a while because he doesn't tend to talk about us. Anyway, I think that'll about do it for this specific ranting of the time that I'm here. Overall, Refodge Gaming, if you have turned over a new leaf, apparently, like you said in a different tweet another day, you certainly haven't shown it right now. But I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt that someone brought up the topic and you just decided to rant about it for a while. Anyway, there's another clip that I wanted to get into, but this video is already far too long, so I might save it for a part 2. Coming in the near future. And anyway, if you like what it is that I do and want to support me in any way, shape, or form, be sure to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Support me on other platforms as well. Links down to all of that in the description down below. I make music, I make 3D assets, and you can talk to me if you want to do some sort of commission or something like that, because I do 2D and 3D art as well. Overall, Refodge, yikes. My name is GamePagan21, and a peace off.